is Rennie Knopf with Championship BBQ.TV, and you're listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Yay! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big BBQ Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire fun and frivolity show. If you'd like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter. Because if you didn't get the newsletter, you have no idea what kind of fun and frivolity that you will be finding for perhaps at least the next 90 minutes, perhaps 120 minutes. Fourth Tuesday of the month usually brings a visit from these guys in the second hour, but because we have extended Assurity and a number of other topics to get into that have nothing to do with Assurity, we have a full-blown 2, 3, 4 segments with the embedded correspondents. Oh my, can you believe it? Everybody clocking in, doing overtime. They will be compensated accordingly, time and a half, times the amount that they normally get for showing up once a month, which is, I wouldn't say life-changing, but definitely allows them to do some of the finer things in life. And if you believe that, I got some land. We can talk about it after the show. So, the longest-running embedded correspondent, Doug Scheiding from Texas, will be joining us. And then John Solberg, the second longest-running correspondent from Michigan, will be joining us. And then the third longest-running embedded correspondent, Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah, and rounding out the embedded correspondent dais this month, as we do each and every month, Matt Osman from the great state of Tennessee, who might be approaching now fourth longest running embedded correspondent. I don't remember exactly when Steve started, and I don't specifically, I remember when Steve stopped, believe me. I remember how that happened. I just don't remember what date it was. So Matt is either on the heels of Steve or has recently passed Steve or has some time to go to get to Steve, but nevertheless, he is the current reigning embedded correspondent from Tennessee. By the way, we congratulate the Tennessee Volunteer women's softball team for making it into the Women's College World Series, beating a peppy Nebraska team in a Geordie ball. So congratulations to them. So that's what's happening this whole show. Me and the embedded correspondents doing nonsense, tomfoolery, and potential hoodwinkedness should the opportunity avail itself. We will get your comments. I will flash your hot takes, all that fun stuff as we go through the show as well, so you can take part. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you tonight watching through one of our video streaming platforms. Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we do have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody tonight that's watching through YouTube, because that's where the poll questions are tallied, or the results are tallied. And we're asking everybody this: do you think that gas grilling is real grilling? And the question has real all capitalized. Do you think gas grilling is real grilling? And currently 71% of you are saying yes, you do. Thank goodness. Whew. That does mean 29% of you think that gas grilling is not real grilling. I could dive headlong into that, but I will hold myself off for the moment. Results of the poll question from last week: did you know that both Memphis in May and Smoke Slam happened this past weekend? And 64% of people answered yes, they were aware of that. So we're going to get started here this evening. This is not something I normally do in this spot of the show, but because we had Susie and Todd Bullock on 1014 last week for their quarterly segment, part of that whole segment interview was talking about some products, and we talked, I wouldn't say in-depth, but certainly close to in-depth on the Hey Grill Hey high heat grilling gloves, or whatever the Todd was passionate about. He said he was going to send me some, and guess what he did? Here they are. Like that. So we do have, now look, Todd said that the Hey Grill Hey brand originally was this color. You live in Cleveland and you see this color, the only thing I can think of is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want any part of it. But putting my sporting alliances aside, here's what they look like. I got extra large on the glove size. And I really don't have any complaints. The only complaint that I have, and I don't know if this is just something that breaks in over time, but right here at the very cuff of the glove here, very tight. I have big manly hands that men have, real men have. So getting into the neck here is not that comfortable. And then we slide in. Once we get through the tightness, then you just slide right in. Russ, you know what I'm talking about. And it goes up nice, high on the, over the wrist. So as somebody who is a watch wearer, if I'm barbecuing, I can wear the watch. I can pull the glove up over the watch, and I don't have to worry about anything getting dirty. Would add a layer of protection from scratching and so forth, depending on what you're fiddling with in your barbecue pit. And now we got them both on here. So definitely, when you look at the, as I call them, the kitchen sink style high heat gloves that go 80, 90% up your forearm, approaching the elbow joint. These are like an inch or two past wrist, if that. So way more akin to what you're used to if you're doing the cloth glove and then nitriles over the cloth glove. From a dexterity standpoint, when I go to make a fist, honestly, and again, I probably have bigger hands than most men outside of basketball players and professional athletes. When I go to make a fist, it gets a little tight. I don't know exactly why I would be making a fist. I'm just trying to give you a fit, finish, and feel. I did try these out over this past weekend. I pulled out cooking racks that were in 375 and 400 degree cookers as it was happening, as it was burning, no issues. I also handle a lot of hot meat, everybody. No issues. There is a little bit of texture here on the inside, not a lot. So you could wind up in a situation where if these inside palms get exceptionally greasy for whatever reason, could be in a little slippery soap situation. Not slippery slope, but slippery soap situation. That being said, for whatever the price was, I don't know, was it $21 or sub $30? As he said, to clean up, I used the Dawn Power Spray, wash it like you're washing hands, and boom, hang them out to dry. You're ready to go for the next time. So I'm saving money because every time I put on a pair of nitrile gloves, they're coming off and going right in the trash. I might as well be throwing 8 cents away every time I do it. Here, I believe I'll get some kind of longevity out of this to at least give me ROI plus. And the true test on these is going to be handling ribs, although I was handling a lot of hot chicken pieces. And a hot grill lid as I was using the Weber slate cooking with the top down, which you're not supposed to do, evidently. Just to melt some cheese when I was doing smash burgers yesterday. Because as Rusty would say, smash burgers are the best burgers. And I killed them again. I love smash burgers. So all in all, in a first use, aside from the color, black and yellow, from a Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint. But from a function standpoint, really good. Very, very happy that I got these for free and they are performing well. How about that? That's exactly the amount of money I want to spend on stuff. And I'm happy that I was able to pay that amount and find value in that amount as well. All right, the embedded correspondents are loading in feverishly, so Lord, throwing copy around. So we don't want to make them wait any longer than necessary. So I will tell you this, if you're serious about your grilling game this coming summertime, why not consider two of the newer offerings from Pits and Spits. First off, that gas griddle combining the power of a traditional grill with the versatility of a flat-top griddle engineered with precision, crafted from top-quality materials. This versatile griddle set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience of both the grill and the griddle top, constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless. Fully well-designed, the griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zones and get blistering hot to 80,000 BTUs. And then, of course, for those of you building your ultimate outdoor kitchen, consider the built-in pellet grill. Designed for the discerning grill master who's demanding top-tier performance from their cooker, it's truly a centerpiece of any serious outdoor kitchen. Low and slow smoking, high heat searing, this thing does it all. You name it, it cooks it. So if you're ready to take your cooking game to the next level, head on over to the website, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, all spelled out with a double T on the pits and the spits. Use promo code BBQ Central at checkout for a free spice pack with orders over $500. If you get the built-in pellet grill or the 4-burner griddle/gas grill, believe me, that free spice pack is good as gold when you enter promo code BBQ Central. Believe me. All right, we're back with the embedded correspondence for the duration. So sit back, relax, and strap in. We're right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Makers of Fireboard 2, which I used over the weekend. Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. By the way, when you use the Fireboard app, assuming you have it hooked up to your LAN or LAN or Wi-Fi, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world. Oh, dear. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. By the way, just for point of note, for those of you that have Fireboard 2 and you also have the Fireboard fan, I forget what the marketing name of that thing is, whatever it is. If you have the fan that hooks the Fireboard 2 to give you draft control, make sure you go into the drive portion and throttle that thing all the way back to 15% tops. Doesn't matter what size ceramic cooker you have. I have an extra large Primo, and the game changed when the guy in Canada who tests everything, not David from the barbecue lab, but this other guy up in Canada, said the fans are just too much. You're always going to overshoot. Go into the settings and throttle that thing back to where it can't get over 15% of the fan volume. And that changed the game. Also, you got to really feather down that air door that's in the blower. But you do those two things, and I'm telling you, that thing stayed right at 350 for hours on end yesterday. It was a delight as I was cooking some Schweens and some Skyline chili from a can. It was delightful. Anyway, extended love for the Fireboard. So if you have the Fireboard drafting system, take note of that. If you're suffering through constant overshoots and you're ready to just go crazy, don't go crazy. Make those adjustments. You tell me if I'm not right. Hey, for the whole show tonight, gang, we have all of them, the embedded correspondents, right here. Look there. There's Doug Scheiding to the right of me from Texas. And there is John Solberg just to the right of Doug from Michigan. And directly below me, where there's still maybe sun shining, in the great city of Utah, Rusty Monson from Salt City Barbecue. And then caddy corner to the right of me, or just below Doug, or just to the right of Rusty, our pal Matt Osman from Tennessee. All right, guys, appreciate you jumping in for what will be an extended show of embedded correspondence and yours truly, which we're looking forward to. So not only do we have a cavalcade, a veritable cornucopia of 100% Assurity questions, we also have a number of other topics that we'll get to after we get through these. And I believe we have enough time to get through these this time. But let's not waste any time. Let's just jump to it. If we end early, fine. John can go to bed early because he wakes up early for work. YouTube poll question of the week before we get into Assurity questions. And we're asking everybody this, including all guests, and all of you are guests. Do you think that gas grilling is real grilling? Doug, yes or no?
I would say yes.
John, gas grilling is real grilling.
Yes.
Rusty, gas grilling is real grilling.
Yes, it is.
Right. And Matt, are we making it a unanimous?
100% yes.
Yes, all right. And of course, having a ownership of 2 gas grills currently, I am 100% in love with gas grilling. 80% of the YouTube voting public also agreeing with us that gas grilling is real grilling. Although I have seen a continued growing anti-gas sentiment across the live fire industry, especially on social media, which is where I get all my news, just like you guys. So we'll see if that continues or if we might have a hand in dropping that off or nipping it in the bud. Hey, Doug, let's start with you with 100% Assurity questions. I thought, your pal Greg, I thought Vegas was the coolest place I've been to in the States.
You said you wouldn't even be noticed if you weren't there. Nothing positive. No.
In fairness, that was the party. Like, nobody would have known if I was at the party or not. It was so highly attended. Nobody would have known. John, I thought Vegas was the coolest place I've been to in the States.
I'm going to say 100% no.
Rusty, I dug Vegas.
Vegas is the armpit of the world, and you have class sometimes, so I would think you had class then, and it would be a no.
All right, I will take compliments when I can get them. Matt Osman, I thought Vegas was swell.
I'm going to say they got 5 shekels out of you by the end of it, so 100% yes.
I have no idea what a shekel is, but the true answer of if I thought Vegas was the coolest place I've been to in the States is no. Definitely not. Indy is way cooler than Vegas. And that's just one. There's a list. Place is cooler. John, 100% yes or 100% no. Greg, me, cares more about doing the exclusive BBQ Hall of Fame shows than getting into the BBQ Hall of Fame itself.
100% yes.
Very quickly with that yes. Rusty, I care more about the shows than the hall itself.
I think you still care about the hall more, but not much. That's what I think.
All right. It's a no for you. Matt, I care more about doing exclusive BBQ Hall of Fame shows and getting into the BBQ Hall of Fame itself.
This is tough for a 100% Assurity, but 100% no.
Wow. Doug, I care more about doing the exclusive shows than getting into the BBQ Hall of Fame itself.
This is a great question. Matt must have done it. I'm going to say 100% yes.
Well, does Greg care more about doing exclusive BBQ Hall of Fame shows and getting into the BBQ Hall of Fame itself? Yes, of course. Of course. I mean, I have only said time and time again, it matters zero to me if I ever got into the BBQ Hall of Fame, which, from what I hear, and I want to get into a secondary topic here, but I have heard from what I guess I would call highly reliable sources that my time has come and gone. I don't know what that means because I know what the process of the BBQ Hall of Fame is. So it would appear that my time is never going to be done because somebody is going to continue to nominate me into the pool of names, which means I have to be continually considered. But I was told that my time has come and gone for the BBQ Hall of Fame. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. But I would way, like, it was so fun doing the 10 finalists and then announcing the class of whatever year we were in 2 weeks later than that. We'll get into more of that later on. All right, Rusty, we're up to you now, Mr. Utah. 100% yes or 100% no. You knew the KCBS World Invitational took place just this past weekend.
I knew it was happening. Yeah, I knew about it.
This past weekend?
Yeah.
Oh.
This past weekend.
We're being a little vague. Matt, you knew about the KCBS World Invitational taking place this past weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was there. Oh, yeah.
Right?
100% yes.
Doug, you knew KCBS World Invitational took place this past weekend.
No, I didn't.
John, you knew?
The what? 100% no.
The top row is all in alignment. Until Matt texted me like late Sunday, I had no idea that it was. I didn't see 1 ounce of promotion for it. Doug, did you see? Well, I mean, I know the answer for us. Rusty, did you just know, or did you see promo about it? How did you know?
Meet Rushmore won like drinks or something, and they posted about it or something. I read something about that.
Wow. So you just caught it on social. If not, you would be perhaps aligned with the top three.
If I didn't catch that post, I wouldn't have known. No.
Wow. Matt, you said you were there?
I vended it. Yes, sir.
Right.
This was supposed to be their first year guest-facing public influence, if you want. It's at the Lebanon Fairgrounds, and there was also kind of 2 other events not correlated with it, a car show and like a craft show. So for that area public, there was enough texture to, but they had food vendors. They had giveaways. They had a kids queue. They had a people's choice. So the KCBS was making an effort this year to be, public facing.
From a teams count perspective, would you say it was well attended?
Sure. Because it's the open and then the invitational. I think there was 100 and you say, well, that place can hold a lot more. There definitely could be a lot more teams. I think there was 108 teams. Check my math. And the open, which is, anybody can enter that.
But don't you have to cook both? If you go, you have to cook both? Or if you cook the invitational, don't you have to cook the open? Isn't that part and parcel?
I don't think
I thought
you
that was
have
required.
to.
I thought that was required.
It may. I hadn't been a part of the Invitational, so I wouldn't know that. You would be kind of a dum-dum, in my opinion, if you did not. You're there, so you might as well.
Rusty, do you know for sure if you had to do it if you were an invite cook?
No, you don't have to because we've done it, so I don't know. Oh, geez, sorry, my phone's ringing. We've done it. And you don't have to cook the open. I don't actually not a question. No, you don't have to. No, we didn't have to. So, no.
All right.
I'm really unsure about that for some reason, but I'm pretty sure we just did the invitation.
No worries. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. You can name the grand champion or the reserve grand champion of this contest. The World Invitational, sorry.
For the Invitational?
Yep.
100% yes. The GC, you want to hear them?
No, I don't care.
Oh, okay. Heard.
I just wanted to know if you knew the names. Doug?
Yes.
You can name the GC or RGC of the World Invitation.
No, I even read about it and I don't even know. No.
John?
Did never heard of him.
Do you know RGC or GC for this event?
What event?
Oh.
No.
Still there. Rusty, do you know the GC or RGC of this contest?
No, I don't.
I'm in similar with you guys. That seems to be the only one that's on his game here. And look, I'm not here to bag on KCBS, but I just feel like Logan Chestnut saying you don't have to cook the open if you're an invite. So thank you for that, Logan. I just feel like the KCBS didn't do a very good job of promoting this across social media channels in general. Like, it's got to get to me to have my antenna up on stuff. And I didn't, like, I know they have this event every year. I have no idea when they have this event every year. I know that the American Royal is slowly slipping into what eventually is going to be a New Year's Eve barbecue contest, the way it keeps going. But I mean, I know those, but I don't know this one, and that's a shame because it's kind of billed as their biggest one of the year. Doug, go ahead.
It's going along with the KCBS non-communication strategy this year from the standpoint of I'm a lifetime stinking member, and I only get surveys from them on how they're doing. I get really no other announcements of meetings and, promotions and things like that. So
do you grade them? When you get the surveys, do you take them?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and last time I gave them a 1. A 1 on a scale of 1 to 5.
Wow.
Because they held that rub contest, which I freaking entered, and then I didn't even know that it had been announced like the month before. So yeah. Anyway.
Did you place?
Breaking news, I did get 10th overall out of over 250 rubs.
Wow.
That's the best rub on the planet.
I guess not important enough for you to know, though.
I know. Come on. Yeah.
Wow. 106 teams at the KCBS open portion of the Cook according to T&S barbecue competition team. All right, we'll go back up to Doug. Moving right along here. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. You didn't give Heath Riis a shot at winning the overall Memphis and May championship this year.
That is totally false. I wish he would have won it 2 years ago and broken the streak of 21 years.
All right. John, you didn't give Heath Riis a shot at winning the overall GC this year at Memphis and May.
100% no. He was there. He's a player. He had a shot. He was in the game.
Rusty, you didn't give him a shot to win, that being Heath Riis.
I did not give him a shot, unfortunately.
Matt, you did not give Heath Riis a shot at winning Memphis and May this year.
100% no. He had every chance. He nabbed the one before. So
I'm going to align with Rusty. I just didn't give him a shot. I don't think that. I think he absolutely had a shot at winning his category that he has won now 3 out of the last 4 years, which is ribs. But outside of, at the time, considering that, I forget what the hell the name of the team was that won it 2 years ago with ribs, I thought that was an outlier. because
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That's right. So I thought that was an outlier. Last year, Shed won it again. And I thought we were right back to going to be shoulder or hog again for the foreseeable future. So shame on me, where I was taking Brad Leiniger over the field for Memphis and May this past weekend. I agree with Rusty. I just didn't give Heath Riis a shot. Winning the ribs, absolutely. Winning the whole thing, not really. So shame on me. John, 100% yes or 100% no. Ribs winning Memphis and May the past 2 of 3 years means Ribs have a legit shot at winning from here on out.
100% yes. The game has changed.
Momentum. Rusty, Ribs have a shot from here on out.
I hope so. Ribs are the best barbecue product on the planet, and they deserve.
I agree. Okay, we're going to come back for a follow-up on that, Rusty. Matt, Ribs have a chance of winning from here on out.
100% yes.
Doug, Ribs and the win?
I'm going no on that.
I was feeling peer pressure to make it unanimous, but Doug broke the momentum. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with Doug on this. 2 out of 3 years, very special. I can easily talk my way out of 2 of 3 years being outliers and shoulder and hog just dominating because it has. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that, but I could talk myself into being a hypocrite. No, I'm going to stick with it. Well, I'm going to stick with it. No, it's not going to be a thing. To be in my head. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Jack's Old South and Big Bob Gibsons will never break their overall GC tie at Memphis and May, currently at 5 each.
Absolutely, they will break it. Chris was that freaking close this year. They'll do it.
All right, Matt, Jack's Old South and Big Bob Gibsons will never break the overall GC tie.
100% no.
Doug, Myron, and Big Bob Gibsons remain deadlocked for eternity.
No.
All right, John, 100% yes or 100% no. Jack's Old South and Big Bob Gibsons will never break their overall GC tie at Memphis in May.
100% no.
All right. I'll say no as well. That's another one I can make arguments for and against. So, is it Matt? Matt, let's go to you. 100% yes or 100% no. Big Bob Gibsons has a better shot at breaking the tie than Jack's Old South does.
Oh, 2,000,000% yes.
2 million. Wow, shitting a Hall of Famer and Myron Mixon. Doug, Big Bob Gibsons has a better shot at breaking the tie than Jack's Old South.
I don't know if it's 2 million, but it's definitely 100%.
Yes. Wow. Right, Johnny, Big Bob Gibsons, better shot at breaking the tie.
Oh yeah, I'll book it. I'll bet you right now today. Name your amount.
Name your price. Rusty, Big Bob Gibsons. Whoa. Flying through the first segment there. Rusty, Big Bob Gibsons has a better shot at breaking the tie than Jack's Old South.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Wow. Because because Big Bob Gibsons has sniffed it far more times than Jack's Old South has in the last 10 years. 100% yes. 100% yes. Not to say that Myron Mixon is not a all-time great, because I still consider him to be perhaps the best because of what he's accomplished through multiple sanctioning bodies. But I think Big Bob Gibsons is still a player to take a world championship in Memphis in May before Jack's Old South does. All right, guys, hang out for just a moment as we take a quick break. I'm not going to drink on camera. It's rude. For some reason, I start doing the show, and I become dry for the first hour. It's like I got to work in the talking shape. Hey! Big Papa Smokers is celebrating 15 years of helping both backyard warriors and competition pros bring home the grand championship. Whether you're prepping your next comp or just firing up the grill for spring, Big Papa's award-winning rubs like Sweet Money, Competition Brisket and Steak, Cash Cow, Cattle Prod, Desert Gold. What was the other one I used? Oh, Happy Ending. Oh, that's really good. These rubs have bold flavors to take your barbecue to the next level. And for a limited time, they've brought back a fan favorite, Cucaracha, for that extra kick you've been craving. Barbecue Central Show listeners, this one's for you. You can use promo code BBQ Central 25 at checkout for free shipping. Now through June 30th, so just a little over a month. For you to take advantage of this discount, visit BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com and stock up now. Use promo code BBQ Central 25 for free ground shipping. Some exclusions apply. Our pal Sterling Ball, Amy Acox, and the gang over there at Big Papa Smokers. All right, we are back with more of the Embedded Correspondents. Right after this, stick around. We'll be right back.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
All right, welcome back. We are joined by the Embedded Correspondents. Right here, we got a Doug Scheiding and a John Solberg and a Rusty Monson and a Matt Osman. Guy the Cooking Sam weighed in through the transition saying there's no more percent than 100. You nerds should have known that. And the Guy the Cooking Sam, I have to say this. I just sat through a KPI meeting last week where our new marketing director told us that our page views are up 8,714%. That's more than 100%. Pal, so just know that it can absolutely be more than 100% in certain instances. That's probably not what we're talking about, but that's all right. Where do we leave off, with Matt or Doug? All right, well, we'll just go with Doug. How about that? All right, Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Some other team will rise up and surpass both Big Bob Gibsons and Jack Sold South for overall world title leader at Memphis in May.
The Shed possibly, but the answer is no.
John, somebody else, or let's call it the field, some other team is going to rise up and surpass both Big Bob Gibsons and Jack Sold South.
100% no.
Rusty?
Time is infinite, so it's inevitable.
Yes, Rusty just refuses to give me 100% yes or 100% no, and he knows I hate it, but all right. Matt, 100% yes or 100% no. Some other team will rise up and surpass both Big Bob Gibsons and Jack Sold South for overall world title leader at Memphis in May.
Yeah, 100% yes. There's a bunch that already have multiples.
Never have I heard Rusty sound so wise as when he said time is infinite. So I agree. Some other team will rise up and surpass both Big Bob Gibsons and Jack Sold South. Go ahead, John.
Time is infinite, but Memphis in May is not.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, shit. Well, All right, I'm going to recant. I'm going to go with a no. Damn it. Sorry, Rusty. I don't want to leave you high and dry, but John was smarter than you this time around. It happens. All right, let's go to John. Smartest man in the room right now at this very moment. 100% yes or 100% no. The cigar content on this show is, in a word, lame.
100% no.
Rusty, cigar content on this show is, in a word, lame.
No, just because it's a barbecue accessory.
All right. Oh, didn't think of it that way. Matt, cigars, lame.
100% no.
Doug, cigar content on this show, lame.
Jonathan sounds great, but yes.
Look, I'm going to agree with you, Doug. Jonathan sounds great, and the content is awesome, so it is not lame. He is such a... This guy saved my ass. 2 days ago, I had a box of cigars that I have been saving. I fucking forgot about them in my humidor. Evidently, I had a little bit of a humidity problem. And I opened up the box. These are pretty expensive cigars. And they looked to be what I was visualizing as mold on the cigars. And I thought I was going to have to chuck them. But I took a quick video. He's like, called me right up. He said, do this, do that. He's like, okay, it rubbed right off. This isn't mold. They've actually plumed. They are now at the peak of their flavors. Smoke them now and over the next 3 months to ensure you're getting the best experience. I'm telling you, I had one yesterday during Memorial Day. It was a banger. It was right. I was going to toss the whole fucking box out. So that, on the strength of that alone, the cigar content on this show is not lame. Saving me money gets you my undivided loyalty forever and ever. Amen. Sorry, Doug, you don't like it. You used to smoke cigars. So what the fuck? John, 100% yes or Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. You thought for sure that I was still going to talk about the Michelin Star Guide with Robert Moss this month.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought that was going to go on for a year and a half. So, yeah.
Matt, you thought I was going to go MSG with Robert Moss this month?
100% no. Mm-mm.
Doug, you thought I was going to have one more try at the MSG this month?
Absolutely. You drove the car down the road a little bit and pulled back.
John,
fooled me.
You thought I was going to do more Michelin Star Guide content, even though all of you said it sucked and I needed to stop.
Yes, I thought you would do more, and I'm convinced that you'll do more in the future. You're not done with that shitty content yet.
John, I can tell you with 100% assurity, I am done with that content, and I knew I was not going to talk about it anymore. As Doug said, I tried to fool everybody, but I listen to my audience, to my most faithful insiders, and if you say it's lame, it's lame. But, and I disagree. I'll listen. 100% yes or 100% no. Matt, you have already bought Stephen Reichlin's new book, Project Griddle.
100% no.
Doug, Project Griddle?
No.
John, Griggle.
100% no.
I have no hope for Rusty here, but Rusty, you've purchased Project Griddle.
I can't read. No. Come on, man.
Much like Rusty, I can't read, and no. Not only did I not buy it, I don't even have a free one. Like, out of all of us, I should get the free book to give away after I autograph it to some lucky listener. I didn't even get a free copy from Stephen. It's shocking, to say the least. Doug, back to you. 100% yes or 100% no. You have already bought Meathead's new book, The Meathead Method.
Yes, I pre-ordered it, and I'm going to read it on vacation in 2 weeks.
Wow. So you're looking to do some heavy sleeping during vacation is what you're saying? Little joke, meathead.
Looking to be sexy by the pool. Sexy by the pool.
That's right. All right, John, you have purchased Meathead's new book called The Meathead Method.
100% no.
He said with disdain. Rusty, you've bought Meathead's new book, The Meathead Method.
No, I'm waiting for to come on Audible.
I would love Meathead to read his own book, audiobook. That would be great. Oh, that would be great. Matt, 100% yes to 100% no. Wait, did you already answer this? You bought Meathead's new book? No? Okay.
100% no.
I did not buy it either. To follow up with that, I didn't get a free copy either.
That's too
I think I got to rethink the quarterly guest here for crying out loud. I mean, talk about your new book. I don't get one copy or I can give away. Maybe they're wise to me. It's got to be it. Well, let's try it one more time. Why not? John, 100% yes or 100% no. You have already purchased Michael Simon's new book, Simon's Dinners, Cooking Out.
100% no.
Less disdain on that, no. Rusty, Michael Simon's new cookbook, Simon's Dinners, Cooking Out.
Nope. Can't say I have. Nope.
Matt, Michael Simon's new cookbook, yes or no?
Strike three. 100% no.
Doug, I have hope. Michael Simon's new book?
No.
Well, it should come as no shock, since the other two didn't. I didn't buy this one, and I didn't get a free one. I think it's time for me to quit the podcast. Rusty, you've quit a number of podcasts. Is it time for me to quit or what?
I mean, your big things are dropping like flies, man. You're not getting free things. The Hall of Fame
is falling off. I know. God. Rusty, we should start a podcast.
Yeah, we should. We can quit it in a month. You and I.
No, it'll be great. It'll be our Swan Song podcast. Swan Song BBQ. That's going to be the name of the show. All right. I have no idea where we left off. Let's go back to Doug. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Adam Richman is a douche for saying that the brioche bun is the worst option for hamburgers.
He's wrong as AF.
Yeah.
Brioche is the best.
John, Adam Richman, douche for saying brioche is trash for hamburgers.
It's a tough one for me. I respect his opinion, but he's wrong. So, yeah, he's a douche.
Oh, sorry. Clear bell on that one. Rusty, Adam Richman is a bag for saying the brioche bun is the worst option for hamburgers.
Yeah, he needs to get his house tested for asbestos.
Right. Matt, brioche bun. Adam Richman, douche baggery for saying that brioche bun is the worst option for hamburgers.
Yeah, he's wrong. 100%.
Look, I happen to agree with all of you. It's unanimous. Brioche bun is the best bun for a hamburger. If you're averse to its very minimal sweetness and you think it ruins everything, I hate to say it, you're wrong. If you think that it's too delicate to put a burger on, do what I do. Add a little toast to the top and the bottom to secure some stability and then build your freaking burger and have it on the best bun possible. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't think a brioche bun is the best bun for a burger, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you pray for war, you think communism is the only way to go, all the things that are bad in life is what you believe in if you think brioche bun is bad for hamburgers. And by the way, I don't even give a rat's ass that when Adam Richman said that the brioche bun was the bitch of buns, George Motes agreed. George, you're wrong too. Burger scholar. I'm now banning myself from going to Burger USA in New York City. I won't do it anymore. You can't say that and get away with it with me And I'm going to call for an all-out ban and picketing of Burger USA perhaps sometime later next week. Anybody have anything else to say?
Where was this from? Because now I need to know the whole everything.
It was on Instagram Reels. Just look for Adam Richmond, and he says something of. I mean, he has a on and on about brioche bun, and I want to say he said something about like you're like the college student that took a gap year and you went to France and you think you're all cool, and but no, you're just a piece of shit or whatever. I mean, he shit, and George Moats shit on brioche bun too, which is shocking. You know who puts brioche buns on his burgers? Michael Simon puts brioche buns on his burger. Demands it.
We need to have a new barbecue shirt, brioche bitch.
I guess. Can't wait to have Adam Richmond on. Maybe I can ask Andrew Zimmern if he can get me in contact with Adam Richmond to have him on the show so we can talk about his lack of education on buns. John. 100% yes or 100% no. The best bourbon cocktail is the old-fashioned.
That's 100% yes.
Rusty, best bourbon cocktail, the old-fashioned.
No, it's the Manhattan.
Matt, best bourbon cocktail is the old-fashioned.
That's actually surprisingly difficult. I'm going to say 100% no. It's not.
Right. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. The best bourbon cocktail is the old-fashioned.
100% no. Too sweet.
All right. This is very tough. So Rusty makes a great point. Manhattans are delicious. Sazerac. Oh, geez. We're just flying through this first hour. Sazerac, I guess technically not bourbon. It's rye whiskey, not bourbon. So if we're just going by definition, I agree with John. Old-fashioned is fucking great. By the way, Doug, if you think it's too sweet, like either use sugar cubes and control your sweetness, or instead of making 1-to-1 simple syrup, make it like a 1/4 cup sugar and a cup of water. And less sweeten it. De-sweeten.
There's a drink called, I hate the damn name, it's called Fancy Free, but it's with 2 ounces of rye, and it uses a 1/2 ounce of Luxardo and a dash of orange and a dash of Ango, and I like that one.
Yeah. See, I lose on the Luxardo. Like, that becomes candy to me. You like the Luxardo stuff, John?
Not really.
Yeah.
It's like I'm pretty much, and like I say, Rusty almost pulled me off on that one too, but it comes down to those two. I've basically only ever enjoyed old fashions and Manhattans with bourbon. That's it.
Yep. Go ahead, Doug.
Luxardo is the liqueur that's made from the pit. It's not sweet like that dang cherry. I don't like the Luxardo cherries. I like the pit, and that's what and it's kind of a woodsy taste.
Interesting.
So it's not sweet.
All right, let's see here. What do I got to do? All right. You guys got to stand by just for a moment. As we race through this first hour, I will catch business where I want to go. How about here? Primo, because I used it yesterday. Cooking Schweens and a Skyline chili sauce. Delicious. Oh. And because I was using the Primo, when that thing was up and running at temperature 6 hours later, I was still pulling a 350 with the help of the draft system from Fireboard. But the ceramics in the Primo heat up, it becomes a fuel miser. I mean, if I use 20% of the fuel on a 350 degree cook, pardon me, I would be shocked. It's just great. You got to get one. Only sold through dealers, of course. So go to primogrill.com and find a dealer near you. Visit them. In person, touch and feel all the different oval Primos. And then buy the one that's best for you. I recommend XL at a minimum. Maybe the double XL, 25% bigger than the XL. The XL pretty much gets you what you want. A lot of cooking space there. Make sure you get the deflector plates. And then accessories out the wazoo at this point. You go crazy. I'm not a huge accessory guy when it comes to the Primo. I like to use it for as nature intended for the most part, but I may or may not have a rotisserie basket to do chicken wings in. Sure. PrimoGrill.com. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram. Nick Bauer and the gang over at Primo. All right. We are getting ready to wrap the first hour. Strategizing in my head how we want to do this here. Maybe come back for a question and then wrap it up. Head to the second. Yeah, why not? All right, stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
God, the cooking Sam in the instant chat is saying, I didn't know an old-fashioned was a cocktail. Nobody tell my wife. It's exactly the definition of a cocktail. Combination of sugar, water, bitters, and spirits. That's the recipe of a cocktail, a true cocktail, as defined by whoever made up that word. All right, guys, so we're going to squeeze one more question in here before we... How dare you? Before we get to the top of the second hour and finish out these embedded correspondent or these 100% Assurity questions. Doug, we'll go back to you. 100% yes or 100% no. Smoking your cocktail is, in a word, nonsense.
Obviously, you haven't seen my smoked ranch water recipe. No.
Wow, ranch water. Tequila and soda, right? Is that ranch water?
Soda, and I smoked the limes and fresh jalapeno.
All right. John, smoking your cocktails, in a word, nonsense.
Smoking an ingredient is not the same as smoking a cocktail, but smoking a cocktail is nonsense.
All right. Rusty, smoking a cocktail, nonsense.
Never had one, so I don't know.
Then it's got to be no. Matt, smoking your cocktail is, in a word, nonsense.
Yeah, for the initial $8 upcharge on a menu item. Yeah, it is.
All right. Even if I had the option at home, nonsense. Never has there been a more textbook definition of nonsense than smoking your cocktail. Go to the bar, you see the big chamber that they drop the glass in and hit the crack pipe full of smoke, and oh my God, I mean, nothing screams of like, look at me, my shit don't stink with my smoked cocktail. And they put like the wood chunk over the top of it to keep the smoke in. I mean, could it get any more stuffed shirt than that? I don't think so. All right, we're gonna stop here and then we're gonna resume top of the second hour. That way I can break my hours off here for podcast. So you guys hang out just for a few more moments, and I will direct everybody to do the following. If you missed the first hour, we are recording if you're just jumping in now, so don't worry. Hour number 1 tomorrow morning, and then the second hour on Thursday. Friday's already locked and loaded for best moments. We may or may not talk about that. As I review the poll question of the week, 78% of you are saying yes. You think gas grilling is real grilling. I agree, of course. Glad to see that. So, refresh your libations. Come back for what will be at least the start of a second hour with the embedded correspondence, where we have a small handful of Assurity questions to get through, and then we will talk about a number of other things to include the Hall of Fame, who made it in, who the legacy members are, if there was an Impact Award. We'll talk about Memphis and May and Smoke Slam, talk Texas Monthly Top 50, all the fun stuff. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Austin Parsons, Pitmaster with Smoky Mountain Q in Nashville, Tennessee, and you are listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener. Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about only the most important things in the barbecue and grilling world. In this specific episode, we are answering all the most important questions, and soon we'll be answering questions that really aren't that important to barbecue and grilling, but that's what we do here. When we have the embedded correspondents on, and we have a list of 100% Assurity questions. Still to come on the show, more embedded correspondence shortly. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can watch it on Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch it on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. As I had mentioned on the way out of the first hour, YouTube poll question of the week: do you think that gas grilling is real grilling? And 78% of you are saying yes, you do. You will hear the second hour of the show on audio podcast on Thursday, but coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 385, taking you back to June 6th of 2017, and a visit from now quarterly guest Mike Lang of Another Pint Please. And we continue to discuss the Weber Charcoal Summit. Now, the Weber Summit Kamado Grill, as it's known today, perhaps a grill that has fallen by the wayside over the past few years as pellet cookers continue to grow in popularity and doesn't require anyone to actually learn fire management. But this is a grill that Kevin Coleman talked about on last week's Best Moment show. But and a year later, we have Mike Lang talking about this cooker as well. So as I mentioned last week, if you're in the market and you want something that can pretty much do everything, also that it's charcoal fired, if that is of real importance to you, then this continues to be an option that could satisfy your needs. No longer called the Weber Summit Charcoal Grill. Now it's the Weber Summit Kamado or Weber Kamado Grill, whatever that's called. Kamado's in the name and Weber, so just know that. You can subscribe to the best moments of the show and the show by going to the website, thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And if you would like to hear a guest or segment that you feel has fallen by the wayside that you would like revived, email our pal John Solberg, who we'll see here in just one moment. Jon, John, Jon, John at thebbqcentralshow.com, and let him know what you would like to hear, and he will do his best to meet your expectations. As we pull up the embedded correspondence one more time here, guys. All right, so we've got about 7 minutes here to plow through a couple of the questions, and we will go to John. Lost my place here. Here we go. 100% yes or 100% no. John, you listen to 4 or more barbecue podcasts on a weekly basis.
There are only 2 barbecue podcasts. So the answer is no.
That's right. Rusty, you listen to 4 or more barbecue podcasts.
100% no. I wish I used to, but not anymore.
Matt, you listen to 4 or more barbecue podcasts weekly?
100% yes.
Listen to them all. Doug, you listen to 4 or more barbecue podcasts each week?
This is a stupid question. No.
Right? Wow. I do. No surprise. I listen to everything I can possibly listen to just to see what content people are covering and to see how people are sounding. So I do, of course, and I have for a long time. 100% yes or 100% no? Rusty. You are subscribed to the Barbecue Central Show's YouTube channel.
100% yes.
Matt, you are subscribed to the Barbecue Central Show's YouTube channel.
Twice. 100% yes.
Twice. Got in trouble for that.
Two different accounts.
Maybe you're the guy that got me banned from making money on YouTube. All right, Doug, you're subscribed to the YouTube channel for Barbecue Central Show?
Yes, of course.
John?
Yes, of course.
I don't think I can subscribe to my own, but if I could, I would. So that makes it unanimous. And thank you, by the way, for everybody that's subscribed. I'm almost up to 2 points. 2,700 subscribers. 2 points. Yeah, I wish. All right. Matt, we'll start with you here, getting the last couple. 100% yes or 100% no. Proving that I am a hypocrite's hypocrite, I have finally used the hardcore carnivore everyday carry steak knife in a real-life situation within the last 30 days.
All right, so this time it's 30 days, which takes us close to 30 days. 100% yes. Yeah, this time you got it.
This time I did it. All right, Doug, this time I did it.
The pic of me using mine on lamb inspired you, so yes.
Lamb is delicious. John, I've used the everyday carry steak knife.
Oh, for all the love of all things holy, 100% no, you have not.
Rusty, I have used, finally, in my ultimate hypocrisy, I have used the everyday carry steak knife.
100% no chance.
50% of you are right, and 50% of you are wrong. Within the last 30 days,
Andrew,
I have not used the everyday carry steak knife. There's no better sound drop than that. I feel like I could ask this every month. Somebody's going to say yes. Also, I feel like one of these months, I'm probably going to say yes. But it ain't this month, chumps. 100% yes
coming up there.
or 100% no. Dougie, when the embedded correspondents predict that something won't happen, it means that it most certainly will happen.
Not a chance. Still at 3.8.
John, when the embedded correspondents predict that something won't happen, it means it will happen.
100% yes.
Rusty, when we predict it won't, it assuredly means it will.
Well, I'm 100% right, so I'm carrying the team. You guys need to step up. But no, sorry.
No. Matt, when we predict it won't happen, it most certainly will happen.
100% no.
History has proven, yes, it's 100% correct. When we say things are not going to happen, they do happen. Case in point, the Weber deal never closing. Yeah, it closed like 6 seconds after we said it wouldn't. Literally 6 seconds later, it closed and became a whole thing. So, what can I tell you? Oh, wait, that's it. We've done it. We're through it. 100% Assurity Questions. All right. Now, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to bump this out so we have a little bit more room to continue on. So now that we're done with the 100% Assurity Questions, we also have a few other items that we can just discuss here as we make it through the balance of the second hour here. One of these has been on the docket for well over a year. We're going to get to it right now. I feel like maybe this was even a Rusty question from well over a year ago, but I could be wrong. Rusty, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So let's go around and ask everybody this. And Doug, we'll start with you. World champion, competition cook. Which of the four major proteins would you drop from competition? Chicken, ribs, pork shoulder, or brisket?
Being from Texas, it's obvious pork shoulder.
Any reason?
86 it. You're already cooking one form of pork, and you're not going to throw ribs out. So the alternative is you got to throw the shoulder out.
All right. John, which of the 4 major proteins would you drop from competition?
You know what? As much as when I did cook in competition on teams, the thing I would cook was chicken, and it's the thing that I think I could really cook the best of those in a competition.
Yeah, same.
It's got to be chicken. Chicken's got to go. It's got to go. It's not even barbecue.
Rusty, you're a high line competitor. Which of the 4
Brisket
proteins?
all day.
Brisket all day. All right, Matt, which one are you taking out?
4,000. We got to save competitions and get rid of brisket.
Yeah, all right, Matt is getting rid of brisket as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I'm aligning with Rusty and Matt here. I'm dumping brisket. From what I've heard, it's pot roasty at best. I mean, I've never cooked in a competition in my life, so like, what the hell do I know, right? I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but they're very expensive. And look, I mean, everybody continues to just cook the same. I know there could be redundancy in pork shoulder and pork ribs, but they're different enough for the judges. Get rid of brisket, cost saver. And I do kind of agree with John. Like, barbecue chicken is not barbecue chicken, right? From competition scene. But John, would you say that chicken is further departed from what you would normally see in a backyard than what you would see from a brisket in competition?
Well, and this is my own bias, but chicken is grilled in the backyard. Chicken is grilled. It's cooked in the backyard. It's not barbecued. It's not smoked. And brisket is absolutely barbecued.
Yeah.
If you say which one, could try grilling a brisket and see what you wind up with. You can't do it, right? You got to do it low and slow. So it's like change the way that the brisket is judged, but chicken it's a grilled product. It's not even barbecued. It's poached chicken. I'm not talking about Texas. I know they do things a little different, but for the most part, if you're cooking chicken and soup, everybody can do it now. It's easy. They got it dialed in. Give away the hard one so it's easier for you to compete, which is brisket. Get rid of chicken because it's not really barbecue meat.
All right, so the American Royals BBQ Hall of Fame has a new class of 2025. And if you were not familiar, the 10 names that had a chance to get in are the following. Phil Hopkins, David Close, Mark Lambert, Ben Lang, Brad Leiniger, Philip McClard, Roger Mooking, Roy Perez, Donnie Teal, and Helen Turner. Now, these are all people that are living. So, John, as you review the 10 finalists' name, was there anybody on there that stuck out to you or anybody that you were going to throw your betting dollars towards as you saw the list?
Well, I threw my betting dollars at between Donnie Teal and Brad Leiniger. I had it on Brad. I saw him going over Donnie Teal, to be honest, even though I don't know how many years he's been on the list, if at all. So that's my only real toss up on the list. The rest of it, I see where it's coming from.
Rusty, when you look at the 10 finalists, anything stick out to you?
Well, Brad Leiniger on there. I don't know. I feel like he's not new. I'm not going to say he's new, but he feels new. And that's who I was rooting for. I thought that was going to be a shoo-in. That was pretty awesome. But it's all pretty, standard stuff. David Klaus, I think he's the dude too. This his second time, right? In a row? Am I wrong?
So Dave Close, I believe this was his third time.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad. But yeah, nothing crazy.
Matt?
Opposite of John, Ben Lang and Mark Lambert were the two that I would have put my money on. I thought they were shoo-ins. I talked to Brad this past weekend, congratulated him on the nomination and whatnot. And he kind of said, he says, man, I'm too new. he's very hot right now. He's Brad Leininger, right? He's the Tom Brady of competition barbecue. I don't know. I think it was too early. I think, as we all kind of said, he needs to be on there at least one more time for some heavy consideration. But I thought Ben, look, a lot of us have owned or cooked on Lings. Guy's been doing it since the 80s, man. That's a hefty contribution with that style of cooker for our industry.
Doug, you see anything on the list?
Well, what I didn't see was what kind of surprised me. So no Andy Husbands or no Malcolm Reed.
Yeah.
I thought I would have chosen them as one of my final four as compared to, four off that list. So yeah, that surprised me.
All right. So I would go there along with you. Not necessarily so much with Andy Husbands. I'm not saying he's not deserving of it, and certainly he's been up for Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame as well, being championed by Rusty for the past number of years and making legitimate arguments from a guest standpoint. But from Barbecue Hall of Fame standpoint, I was a little surprised that he had made the finalists list. He's been successful, but I don't know if it's like Hall of Fame worthy. But then Malcolm Reed had been on the 10 finalists for 2 years in a row. This would have been his third year. Dave Close on this list 3 years in a row. History, at least the short-term history, has proven once you get nominated the third time, it's typically the third time that you're nominated, you cross over into the actual hall itself, a la Meathead and Darren Worth and Leanne Whippen and a number of other folks that were nominated 3 years in a row and then ultimately making it in that third year. So I could see Dave Close being nominated again, coming in. I was shocked that Malcolm Reed didn't even make it into the 10 after being a 10 finalist for 2 years in a row. Absolutely shocking to me. And I'm not sure who's on the names committee at this point. I had some back and forth with the Hall of Fame as to some other questions that we'll get into here in a second. When I look at the list otherwise, I can certainly understand where Brad is too new, but how do you say too new, but then look at everything that he's accomplished? He's the best competition cook we've ever seen. He is a philanthropist. He does game shows. He has his own barbecue business. He's not just a jack of one trade. I mean, he does a number of different things. So I don't know if there's been another human that has taught more people about competition barbecue than a Brad Leininger. Couple that with Tim Shear because they were kind of doing those classes together, but he's had to have taught thousands and thousands of men and women how to do competition barbecue. So, I can see him being too new. That doesn't, in this kind of a Hall of Fame, I don't think you got to be on there long. If you're qualified, you should just be able to get right in. So, ultimately, we end up with this, a 2025 Hall of Fame class comprised of Dave Close, Roy Perez, Donnie Teal, and Helen Turner. John, anybody on that list that you would take off?
Man, this is a hot seat question, isn't it? Like, would I take them off?
You can say no.
They're all deserving. I would take them off because I want like their opponent. These all kind of have a yin and a yang. There's two people for each category, and I disagree with some of the ones that were selected.
So
but they're all worthy to be on.
Let me re-ask. If you look at the list that's going in, who would you take off and put in their place?
I take off Donnie Teal and I put in Brad Leininger.
Mm-hmm.
I think Close is the right choice because you just got to go. Can you say Jambo, hello, in competition barbecue? I didn't know Helen Turner prior, and of course, Roy is Roy, and he's been around forever. So that would be my trade out. Would be Donnie for Brad.
Yeah. What do you think about the list that makes it in, Rusty, and who would you trade out, if any?
Well, I was looking over the list thinking it's a really, really good list. Like I really like it. Not that I never haven't liked it, but I think everyone's really deserving. But I kind of, when John was talking, I have to agree. Donnie Teal's awesome, but Brad Line, Donnie Teal comes from the competition world. He also has a barbecue joint, but Brad just does it better. But I think the other three are legends and need to be in there. That needs to happen. But I think you could swap them out for sure. But I think this is rock solid. Besides that,
Matt, would you swap anybody out?
What is it that they say in the ladder of success? Every rung is somebody else's back. Yeah, we'll take Donnie out. I'll put Ben in. I'll say it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Donnie is even like top 10 finalists worthy. He has done it for a long time. Look, this is a guy who's a Donnie Teal fan. I met him in person a long time ago in Oklahoma, if you can believe it, when I was in Oklahoma. And I mean, the fact that this guy never smiles for a picture is like one of the best things that has ever happened in competition barbecue world to me. You take a picture with this guy and it's like mugshot after mugshot after mugshot, and it's just the fucking best. But when I think of all-time greats, it's not somebody that pops right into my mind where I could list off 20 other guys and guys or gals that would be ahead of him. So the names committee chooses it. What can I say about it? So he's on there. I would probably take him off, put a Brad in, put a Ben Lang in. Let me go back to the list here and see Helen Turner, Donnie Teal, Roy. But let me go so far as to say this. I'll keep Donnie Teal on the 10. I have no idea what Roger Mooking is doing on a top 10 finalist for the BBQ Hall of Fame. So apologies to Donnie Teal. I had to review that list again. Like, I know Roger Mooking is some kind of TV host in Canada. I can't name the show. I've never seen an episode outside of that show. What has he done? I don't know. So I don't know, A, who nominates him and how that name makes it onto the top 10 finalists. Malcolm Reed doesn't make it back on. That is suspect to the highest degree. And now we're going to have to call investigations and potential boycotts potentially later, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, if I remember. But that's shocking to me. Mark Lambert on that list, fine. So from in the hall, Dave Close, absolutely. Roy Perez, legend, absolutely legend. Helen Turner, legend. And I'm fine with Donnie Teal getting in ultimately. So those are your 4 living members. Now your legacy members: Ernest Alexander, Walter Jetton, and Paul Shoddy. I'll be the first to lead off here and say I don't know Ernest Alexander and I don't know Walter Jetton. John, do you know those first two?
No, I do not. Paul is the only name that I recognize on that list.
Rusty, do you know the first two?
Yeah, nope. Don't even know the last one.
You don't know the last one?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
That's right. Matt, do you know the first two?
I'm with Rusty. I don't know all 3.
Oh,
I'm too new.
All right. John. Doug, do you know the first two?
No, I don't.
All right. Now the floor is yours for Paul Shoddy.
I appreciate this. I've nominated Paul Shoddy many times, and he was at Head Country for many years. I think since '94 or so. Was brought on to basically do barbecue cooking, and he loved it. And he was the first one, other than I think it's Tuffy Stone, that won the American Royal and the Jack Daniels in the same year. And after winning the Houston Rodeo, I was lucky enough to be asked and invited to cook on the Wild Game crew and cook side by side with Paul for 7 years. And a lot of people thought we were brothers because of Shoddy and Shiting, and in truth, Paul thought that barbecue had passed him by, and so he kind of helped reinvigorate me and me with him, and we had a special relationship, and I was, it was tragic the way he passed, and I thought it was long overdue that he finally got in.
Yeah, always would be much better for these folks to be living and be able to enjoy the honor as it's happening in real time, but not the case here. Paul, also a guest on the show twice, I believe, and a great guest each time. And that first interview was, spectacular because you get all the background of a young Paul Shoddy and how he gets into barbecue, how he gets into head country, and eventually how he kind of turns into Paul Shoddy outside of head country. If you knew Paul Shoddy, it was synonymous, right, Doug? I mean, it was Paul Shoddy and head country, and it was like that pretty much forever. So to be able to then spin out of that and create individuality when you almost seem to be part and parcel of a huge brand. I mean, you get out, head country is a huge brand anyway, but especially out there in that particular region, Oklahoma and North Texas, and, where it's heavily, heavily used. That's a tough thing to do, and he was very successful at doing that. So I was happy to see that in a legacy manner, Paul was able to get in this time.
And he was a month away from really opening up his Paul Shoddy products. He had signed the lease on the building, etc. And I will say that there is no person, like in wine, there's sommeliers, tequila, there's a catadora. He had the best palate for rubs and sauces on deciding what ingredients they were, and how when you scale things, especially with making sauces, as you scale them, you don't scale them 1-to-1 because some of the ingredients take over when you get larger batches. So he was phenomenal in that way.
All right, John, Impact Award is National Barbecue News. Any thoughts on National Barbecue News?
I think that's a good call. If I could just back up quickly, Doug, not to get too far ahead on the best moments, a week from this Friday is the Paul Shoddy's first time on the show on the best moments. So I hope you can look forward to that and catch up with. If you don't know, you guys that don't know Paul, it's a good show. National Barbecue News, that is another great Impact Award. I wish it was the Barbecue Central show, but I think that these guys are a pretty close second.
Rusty, any thoughts on Barbecue News getting the Impact Award? There was no Impact Award last year, by the way. It's not guaranteed every year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great. I love that. I love that magazine. It's fantastic.
I'm okay with it. I think they're still relative. Effort.
You mean relevant?
What did I say?
Relative.
Did I say relative? Oh, sorry. Relevant.
All right.
And hey, give them their credit.
Doug, National Barbecue News.
I nominated them, so I wonder how many other people nominated them.
Wow.
And after I went to the event at the Shed, they have been around since 1990. That's when the Barbecue News started. The Phelps family has been writing about barbecue and involved in barbecue for all this time. And Kel Phelps and Janet Phelps, they basically saved in BBQA in my mind. So I think, it was the Titanic. It was going down, and I thought there was no way anybody could save it. And they worked tirelessly for barbecue. And so that family has been involved in barbecue for a long time. So when I went to the Shed and I was like, they deserve the Impact Award. So I nominated you, Greg, Sterling, and who else? Yeah, and them for the Impact Award. There was one other person I had nominated. Yeah, so
great. So all great points that Doug makes. Also, a fun fact here: for a number of years, as I started getting into this whole barbecue scene, so it would have been around 2004 or so, as I was getting my board together and then ultimately podcast. Kel Phelps was also the guy that put on a contest called the Best of the Best, which was his version of trying to crown a true unsanctioned national champion. So he would get teams from all sanctioning bodies, and if you won any major barbecue competition, you were invited, and you went to Douglas, Georgia. And for years, Best of the Best was put on, and it was widely considered to be one of the majors that you wanted to be invited to and then win if you were a competition cook back then. And then ultimately, like most of great competitions, eventually it went away. Didn't make sense anymore to keep putting on. But to me, that's a jewel in the Phelps barbecue treasure chest that I think a lot of people have forgotten about. And National Barbecue News still around. As Matt said, still relevant, still covering the topics. Like Doug said, been around forever. I think Kel's parents started that, and then he eventually took it over. So multi-generational business covering barbecue, for crying out loud. So, I mean, I've been doing the show live since 2008 and in this podcast since 2006, and he was doing it 16 years before I was doing that on the written word, no less. So congratulations to National Barbecue News on the Impact Award there. All right, so a couple more topics here before we call it a night. Memphis in May versus Smoke Slam. So we talked about this in the Assurity Questions. Rusty, just kind of circling back here with a Heath Riis win with ribs as a competition cook. Some of your thoughts maybe on what the win means and also on Heath in general.
Well, Heath's an awesome cook, especially ribs. And I think I don't know. I mean, this might be just me not, knowing too much about Memphis, never going, all that fun stuff. But it just felt like that ribs got a bad shot just because they're ribs. It's not a whole hog. It's not a pork, shoulder or whatever. It was just ribs. And I feel like that was just more of what it was. That's just my take on it. So it's cool to see that, someone like Heath, who kills the rib game, can come up and do that. And, it's kind of relevant now, and I hope it continues because, like I said, to me, ribs is the best barbecue item, period. So it's cool to see. Gives me hope. Maybe I can go compete in Memphis in May now and feel good about it.
Matt, what do you think about Heath's win?
So being at Springfest, which for a lot of people is a KCBS/MBN contest held in Hernando or anyway, it's just south of Memphis. I stood right next to Heath and their whole crew when they got their rib call and won that MBN GC with ribs. The only reason I mentioned that, there's a stigma in the area. If you win that contest for MBN and you're competing in Memphis a couple weeks later, you don't have a shot. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody has ever won Memphis winning the MBN. Hats off to the man. He's been practicing. I think he really has been on an agenda. I think it has been something that just all the effort, right? And when we heard, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that he made finals. I wasn't surprised that he won ribs. I wasn't surprised that Heath Riis won ribs at Memphis, winning, that's his third rib title. And that's his fourth top 10 in the past 5 years. So man set out and man has done it.
Doug, any thoughts on Heath Riis winning?
They had, when I go to a contest, I like to just focus and I don't like to cook, for people. And they had events the 2 nights prior to the main competition where they were hosting, I don't know, it was Yeti or somebody, and they hosted 2 large groups. Actually, Tuffy Stone did not cook Memphis in May this year, but his side, his guy, France Berger, who we know well, he actually was helping, and he was on the team with Heath Riis, and so he had a heck of a team put together. And it's amazing that you need all those people for a rib. But anyway, he was a man possessed, and like I said, I wish he would have done it, and broken the 21-year streak. But
John, any thoughts on Heath Riis' win at Memphis?
I do, and I have an unpopular point of view.
All right, let's hear it.
First of all, I love Heath Riis. Heath Riis, I know we know each other, from afar. I don't want to take away from his win, but when I sit back and look at this, this is a shift away from the old, right? Where is Chris in my social media? I don't see him doing Weber stuff. I don't see him doing Big Grand Egg stuff anymore. I don't see him anymore. He's falling off. And Heath is in the forefront. He's kicking it every single day. He's out there. He's known. Yeah, he had to make the finals with the blinds. Once he got the finals, it was like, okay, Chris is old guard. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. The up and coming new in your face is Heath and his brand. This is a marketing shift. And as Memphis in May tries to stay alive, because it's just a big oak tree that died. It's already dead. It just is going to take it years to fall down. An oak tree can stand living for years, but Memphis in May is dead. So they're making a shift away. I'm not taking away from his win, but this was just freaking gamesmanship and posturing. That's the way I read this. I apologize to anybody who was offended. Heath won ribs fair and square. Did he beat Chris Lilly's shoulder? That's a stretch. That is a stretch for me, but it happened.
I'm not surprised that Heath won the ribs category again. He appears to be completely possessed in his want and desire to win ribs again at Memphis in May, but more than that, finally get over the top and win the whole thing. So when I saw him taking grand champion, like world champion, and the overall, I wasn't necessarily surprised. John, I don't think you're necessarily off base. I think I think Heath is really, I would say that Heath has pulled his best Malcolm Reed card. He's seen what Malcolm has done. He has seen the success that Malcolm has had. If you look at a lot of what Heath has done, Malcolm has already been there, done that, and there's a lot of similar looks, a lot of similar aesthetics, completely two separate individuals without a shadow of a doubt. I think if you go into a judging event with Malcolm, you get a completely different pitch than you're going to get with Heath. So there's a differentiator there, but I don't disagree that he's somebody that hits social media tremendously, and he is out there trying to promote the brand and grow his rub business and grow his sauce business and any other business that's associated around the Heath Riis brand at this point. He wants to grow and monetize and make into a huge company, and he appears to be being pretty successful at that. So I'm not sure I feel like this win for Heath, this is me talking, I don't know Heath. I feel like this win to Heath makes him feel legitimized in the whole Memphis in May arena. He got over, he did it in ribs. He's won ribs 3 of the last 4 years or 3 of the last 5 years, whatever it is. But getting over the top and getting this overall championship, especially over a Chris Lilly that was there, I have no idea who the team that had the hog was. But to say Chris Lilly was on my level and I pushed over and got over on them, I think this feels best for him inside. Maybe we don't even see him next year. Maybe he goes across the street, goes to Smoke Slam and tries to clear off $185,000 in cash because now he's got a Memphis in May world title in his back pocket, and that becomes less attractive. Like, can you get more famous if you win 2? Can you get more famous if you win 3? I mean, I don't know. It seems like nobody can win more than 5 at this point, and that's gone on forever. So I think it's a great win for him, but I think it probably helps him fill a void of some sort, or he's able to knock down a life goal. It seems like DeSoto County in Mississippi is a hotbed for some of the winningest teams in Memphis in May history. You got now Heath, you got John Wheeler, you have Melissa. Cookston. I mean, it's a micro hotbed of Memphis in May talent that has won and won and won. So very, very impressive, a little geographical tidbit there. Chris Lilly winning yet another pork shoulder category. Does that get lost in all of this, Doug? Doug's frozen. I knew it. It's like Doug is either asleep or he's frozen. John, do you think that Lily's win in whole hog, or Lily's win in shoulder again gets lost in the mix here?
It kind of does, because when you just asked the question, I realized that I had lost it. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
I wasn't. I was. Yeah, no big deal. He won. I was focused on the ribs and Heath's win. So yeah, it did get lost in the mix.
Doug, do you think Chris Lily's pork shoulder win got lost in the mix here?
Yes, absolutely. Because wasn't it a record 7th? So he won it for the 7th time, and I think that leads all the most wins in a single category. I don't understand why people want to change from, if they do well in whole hog, then they switch over. Because like Ridiculous, what they cook something else. They cook shoulder this year, so
yeah. That was Blue's Hog MO. They did ribs, and then they went shoulder, and then they went whole hog. So, yeah, dance with what brung you. Rusty, do you think Chris Lily's win got lost in the mix here?
Yeah, just because it was ribs, and Heath Riis finally, doing his thing. Sadly, Chris Lilly is like the shit, so that sucks. But he's awesome. Hopefully, he wins it again.
You agree, Matt?
Yes and no, and here's the no part. Chris, as far as I understand it, sidebar conversation when I've seen him out over Big Bob Gibson and the Chris Lilly, it's shifting to the Suns now and has been for a few years. They're poised to take over the reins. As far as I know, and what Chris said, I believe his sons ran the whole program this year. Like, it was their cook. Maybe he did the on-sites or something he was still up there on stage, but this was the passing of the reins, and look what they accomplished. A first, and whole shoulder. So that's the yes part. That's the no part. Look, I'm a Heath fan. I'm a sponsor team for this year. Heath is so, and to your point earlier about Malcolm, Heath and Malcolm are buds. They have helped him and Candace a lot and direction, but Heath really has taken more of a boots on the ground, still involved with the competition route, plus into the backyard. Like, if you can do both of those things at the same time, it's my opinion, Heath does that. Malcolm's approach, straight kind of more backyard. They've got their teams they still sponsor and whatnot, but Malcolm wants to be, right next to every Weber kettle, period. Heath wants his name with the hat, with the shirt, walking on stage, and right next to the Weber kettle outside. So can't blame him.
Yeah, I think Chris Lily's win maybe gets lost in the mix a little bit. I had heard also that he's handing, or that transition is happening. I wasn't sure to what form. It'd probably be worth having Chris on to talk about how that transition is going to happen, especially at Memphis in May, when you have an opportunity to go ahead and overall world titles. And as John said, is he like falling off at this point? Not in a disrespectful way, but like kind of drawing himself back from the spotlight. If Chris Lilly is doing the on-site presentation, if I'm Big Bob Gibson, I want every possible chance that I have at winning. And Chris Lilly gives me the best shot with those judges. I mean, everybody still knows him. One of the most recognizable faces, probably has one of the best presentations that you hear. He's got to have it dialed in by now. He's been doing it for 700 years. And it has won many, many times, both in a category segment and in an overall segment. So I would be utilizing him, if for nothing else, than to close. But, I mean, at some point, all that has to go to the boys. And then, which is one the better cook and one the better presenter. You're probably not going to have two presenters, because you're probably having two starting quarterbacks on an NFL team, which means you probably don't have one. But probably worth a segment on the show to have Chris on talk about how that whole thing is starting to transition. But to your point, Matt, I mean, if he's handing it over and those two guys were running the show and they won the whole shoulder again, I mean, that is pretty macho. Go ahead.
Well, one more thing. I know Doug's seen I don't know if you guys seen it, a photo. When you go to their cook site and, shake hands, say hello, they've got their presentation room. It is literally corner to corner with their Memphis and May trophies. Like they bring, so do so many other teams. But all you physically have to do is sit at the table from the judge and say, I mean, what else can we say? What you're going to get right here is worthy of these, and go from there.
Go ahead, John.
Don't forget the one thing about Chris Lilly and Big Bob Gibsons is those boys and Chris and everybody on that team, they run whole shoulders all day, every day for a living.
Yeah.
It is not unusual. It's like, yeah, they won because that's the great separator. How many teams down there are running shoulders like Big Bob Gibsons every single day? That's why I think that Chris or Big Bob's will beat Jack's Hold South on getting over the tie. They do it every single day. It's not a big deal for them.
From a Smoke Slam standpoint, I won't go around the dais here, but if anybody has any hot takes or any summatory thoughts on a Smoke Slam, Matt, go ahead.
Being the only one that was there. First of all, big shout out to Old Booger Bear. We walked the stage, made finals in ribs, and we got third. So big effort, big well done, and the massive amount of folks that do that. But look, Smoke Slam this year felt different, not just because the layout was different, but as so many people have said, it's a well-oiled machine. They have the river, they have the prize pool. What are we missing? We're missing the reciprocity with the Jack, with the rodeo, with the Royal. And per some conversations I've had, no names please, rule number 1, it's going to happen. It's in the works. There is merit. What I heard specific to the Jack is this: Brown-Forman has to take a step back and risk reward of giving such thing to Smoke Slam. And it comes down to this: as soon as you say yes to this one, you're going to categorize them by either prize pool or entries. And there are so many others, at least entry-wise, that can beat them. So if you open up this gate, you're going to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry in line saying, what about us? And really right now, the only thing they have is they have the river and they got the coin. Right? Here comes the money. Remember that? All the lead up to it. It is.
I don't remember
it. I'm just saying, 10 racks for a third place rib. What other competition got that? Yep. What other competition got that type of money? I think it's going to happen. I'm putting my dollars in it. It's just a matter of time. May or may not have talked to Mr. Gray about the case CBS Invitational giving reciprocity to Smoke Slam. Break that ice, forge the way. And yeah, you're going to see a lot more teams come over. 100%. 100%. You're going to see teams. We already grew like 30% year over year. Book it.
35% for.
Okay. Pardon me.
Being on the point there. So it's pretty big growth year over year. I see that happening as well. And I think for a lot of teams that maybe have already won it, they were wondering if this thing was really going to be something that is going to be showing up every year, that, you know, this third year is going to be that make or break that's really going to show people, yeah, this thing has got legs, it's going to stay, as long as the money keeps showing up. I mean, that's tough to beat. I mean, Robbie Royal wins overall grand championship, wins ribs or wins pork and is a fourth in ribs, and he walks away with $72,500. Mm-hmm. So, you know, back out whatever your expenses are. I mean, you're still way in the plus money, I would assume. So that's just a huge contest from a monetary standpoint. That's what I was saying. Like, what draws Heath Riis back to Memphis in May? Now he's got that notch in the belt. Why not go across the street and see if you can't win some major bucks and recoup some of those years where you didn't push over to the top?
Which, by the way, ribs won last year. Ribs was the category that GC'd the first annual Smoke Slam.
Last topic. Anybody see the Texas Monthly latest top 50 list? Doug, surprised at number 1?
Not in the least bit. Yep. I knew it's like when when he was on Chopped, when Ernest was on Chopped, Grill Masters, the first season of that, and he was having a watch party, and I knew that he had ordered a $50,000, trailer, and that was the prize money. So I knew he was going to win. The lines this weekend for Burnt Bean were way outrageous.
Oh man!
And I was like, it's out. He's going to win. But he has been busting his butt with all kinds of chefy creations with barbecue, and hats off to him. He works hard. He loves it, and I hope he gets what he wants from being this. It's like the Emmys.
John, do you like number one?
Of course. It's the only one on the list of 3 that I know.
You don't know Leroy or Goldie's?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Never heard of them.
Rusty, you like that list of 3, especially number one?
Yeah, man. Ernest is something else, man. I think if anyone deserves it, it's him. I work 60 to 90 hours on average, and I feel like I'm working a part-time job compared to that dude. And I mean that. I mean, very literally. So, I mean, he's putting in the work. He's doing it. I've had the food. It's fantastic. It's all excellent. So totally makes sense, that he did it. Leroy and Lewis is awesome too. I hope they get their day in the sun. But Ernest, man, he just how you succeed in business is just outwork everyone. And that's just how you do it. And that's exactly what Ernest is doing. So,
Matt, you like Burnt Bean at number one?
I do. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I loved his post about having a new pope and having the pope at number one. Congrats to him. And here's the other thing. I know he does it as well, but man, there's probably an entire massive team, right? Like he's the head, he gets the figure, but he will be the first to tell you it's because of this person and that person and, all the people behind him. And I think he does a really good job of bringing them to his success as well. So hats off.
Yeah. So his partner, David Kirkland, is also a big part of that. I think he would be the first guy that he would mention as being a significant part of this, but Ernest. So I think there's a couple really unique things here. You're seeing a guy that is, I don't know Texas geography probably like Doug does, but like Seguin, Texas isn't necessarily like a hot spot people are rushing to if Burnt Bean Barbecue was there, right? Like that's probably a town that it's like generational families that live there. You probably don't move out of that town. You're born there, you work there, you have kids there, and it happens again and again and again, like small towns around the country. So the fact that he was able to put a barbecue restaurant there, so not incredibly surprising that you got a barbecue restaurant in Texas, but one that's going to take the Texas Monthly's top 50 in the number one spot in that kind of a town is a bit surprising. It would kind of be like if Joe Martinez won number one barbecue restaurant out there in El Paso, and El Paso probably would be a bigger city than Seguin, Texas would. So that's unique in its own right. Seeing or knowing from afar where I started to see Ernest Cervantes to now 15 plus years later being number one barbecue restaurant in Texas, according to Texas Monthly. Incredible achievement. Very accomplished barbecue pitmaster on the competition side of things for a long time before he decided to get in the restaurant. The thing that I find most notable, so everybody says the barbecue is great at Burnt Bean. Very quickly to say, but you got to show up on Sunday because the huevos rancheros are blow your mind good, or the brunch that he makes is blow your mind good. I mean, this is a fine dining, classically trained chef from the roots who has also kind of like a Tuffy Stone story where, the guy's a chef, but fell into the barbecue scene and has been able to produce, from all accounts, some of the best barbecue bites and some of the best bites outside of barbecue in a barbecue restaurant that you can have. So those things make this one very unique. By the way, Goldie's just dropping to number 3. Not much of a fall off at all. They were the last number one 4 years ago when this list came out. And then Leroy and Lewis being at number 2. I agree. I think their day in the sun is probably coming, but not a huge fall off. Also, I was happy to see that my favorite Texas barbecue restaurant, Truth Barbecue, is still in the top 10 at number 9. So congratulations to Lee Patel. Very good. We go in Houston every time we go. So, all right, we have time for promotion as we've taken up the balance of the second hour, if you can believe it. Doug, what are we promoting tonight?
Well, I will be in probably a couple of months. I will be going to the ACE convention because my rubs are actually going to be in the ACE warehouses. So hopefully I'm coming to an ACE near you.
Nice. John, what are we promoting?
Like every time we're on here, the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less each Friday. Subscribe to the Barbecue Central Show podcast and it'll pop into your feed. Check it out this week.
Rusty, what are we promoting?
You can come to Salt City Barbecue downtown Salt Lake, and then you can look forward to my new book, How Not to Die by Working at Salt City Barbecue for 100 hours a day.
All right. Is that going to be out with all the other cookbooks next spring, or
posthumously? Probably I'll be dead.
Yes.
So then the
posthumously, but all right.
More. Yeah, that's it's humously, so it's fine.
Right, that's what Doug says. Matt, what are we promoting tonight?
2 quick things on Monday Nights Live, Right on Cue podcast, starring me every now and then, and maybe we'll pull back Rusty into that. We'll see. And I promise, folks, coming soon at some point. We've had some delays. We've had some obligations. We had some sadness this week. The world headquarters of Blinky's Offset Barbecue will happen next week. We are open for business. Finally, June 4th, we're going to be there. So a week from tomorrow, I promise. Give me the Bible here. Where is it? Here it is. So other than that,
go ahead, Rusty.
I forgot. Yep. I did a segment on my old podcast, the Pitmasters Podcast, which will be coming out in a few weeks. So look for that.
Really?
There you go.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Back showing up. Did you host it, or you were a guest?
I was a guest.
Yeah. Is that weird to be a guest on the show that you hosted? Like you were kind of the work on that show.
Yeah, it was fun. It was Jesse's cool. Jesse's one of my favorite people, so it's just fun chatting with those guys. So yeah.
That's interesting. Jesse's one of my favorite people, but you did the show with Anthony for years.
I like Anthony. I think he's cool.
Okay, well, I mean, you didn't say it.
Well, he's not one of my favorite people. He's a good dude. I like Anthony.
He is a people's. Anthony is a people's.
Jesse's really integral in my success as a barbecuist.
Aha, got it. All right. Well, look, here they are. Doug Scheiding just to the right of me from Texas, longest running embedded correspondent. Then John Solberg just to the right of him, and Rusty is just below me, and then just to the right of Rusty is Matt from Tennessee, Utah, Michigan, and Texas, running it in reverse. Guys, appreciate the extended 2 hours here tonight. I appreciate it. I promise next month we go back to the second hour only, but this was fun. You guys were magical, and have a great evening. It's the Embedded Correspondents right there. Now, before we get out of here, and we got to do it real quick because eventually I will run out of time, I am saying that we do have a programming note for next week. We will not...
Andrew, you are
not having a live show next week. I will be in the Bahamas next week. However, I have recorded some bonus content or new to you content, which you will see a Malcolm Reed brand new interview for a release on Wednesday, and then a Sam the Cooking Guy recording for release next Thursday. And then, of course, we'll have the traditional or normal best of on Friday. So while I will not be here for a live show on Tuesday because I will be at Rest and Relaxation, I do have new to you content locked and loaded, ready to go. How about that? All right, all the way back in the first hour and the second hour, the Embedded Correspondents running through a laundry list of 100% Assurity questions and then talking about some other live fire topics as well. Again, no live show next Tuesday, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. So until then, it's your program, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until 2 Tuesdays from now. It's your program host, Project U.S. American, Greg Rempe saying, Shabba!
Fame from Euclid, Ohio, and you are listening to BBQ Central.